We are going to be looking at some creepy videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go and get right into today's video. A lot of people have been reaching out to me, leaving me comments, asking me to make a video on this whole James and this mysterious object, this mysterious metal object with these mysterious symbols on it, because most of you already know I like a good mystery, like the whole woman on the plane situation, Tiffany Gomas, Andrew Dawson and the giant, the blob over Bove Island, and so forth. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. And spoiler alert, around the 15-minute mark of this video, I had tears in my eyes to the point I didn't think I could continue the video, and this is actually a first for any of my channels. Needless to say, it is quite the conundrum, and I have to admit, at first, I was a little convinced for a couple of reasons. One, not too long ago, I made a video talking about how people on different social media platforms were getting an ad for a website. This website came out before this individual found this metallic object. I'm going to go ahead and play the video now. More and more people are reporting that they are getting this ad to pop up. Matter of fact, this also popped up for me on Reddit, but this is appearing on Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, X, and so forth. It's this ad right here. $10,000 reward for exotic materials. Have you found a strange metallic object, debris, or artifact that behaves unusually? We're offering up to $10,000 for verifiable materials with exotic physical properties. What? So apparently these are the materials they're looking for: materials with unusual electromagnetic properties, objects of potentially non-human technological origin, artifacts exhibiting anti-gravitational effects, metamaterials with anomalous structural properties. So I tried calling the phone number and it leads to Washington, D.C., but it kept ringing. So I went to the website right here, retrievalgroup.com, and it looks like an actual website. So on the About section, it goes on to say that, why do we do this? For too long, the most significant technological breakthroughs have been locked away in classified programs, private aerospace corporations, and government black sites. These discoveries, potentially including materials of non-human origin, represent humanity's greatest opportunities for advancement. We believe that revolutionary technology should not be the exclusive domain of military-industrial complexes or billionaire space entrepreneurs. Every human being deserves access to discoveries that could solve energy crisis, cure disease, enable space exploration, and fundamentally improve life on Earth. Our mission is to create an independent pathway for these materials to reach the scientific community where they can be studied openly, published freely, and developed for the benefit of all humanity. And even if this is a legit website where they would want you to send them in your very bizarre findings, all of this would go right back to the government. And yes, this could be fake, this could be some kind of role playing, but the timing of all of this is very, very weird, given the fact that the government, they are heavily pushing the alien agenda, and not just in the United States, but also in other countries like China. And apparently the only way to send them information is to contact them by phone. You can text them as well. Like I said, it oddly leads back to Washington, D.C., but you would also have to include photos, videos, or documents that go securely through this signal, what they're calling a signal. And again, oddly enough, this is being displayed as an ad all across different social media platforms. So I was like, that's a very interesting coincidence indeed. This website gets spread around in an ad on different social media platforms. Then not too long after, this individual finds a metallic object with symbols that greatly resemble that on the Boogosphere. And on top of this, he found this mysterious object in Nevada, and Nevada currently has a lot of mysterious things going on in the news. For example, there were 315 human remains scattered in a desert there. Investigators are still investigating this. Nobody's come forward yet to claim these remains, saying that this was my family member. They believe it's connected to a funeral home that was improperly storing bodies. But as of right now, there's no updates, and some people believe that there's some kind of dark ritual taking place in Nevada. Then, interestingly enough, around the same time that these bodies were found and this individual finds this object, this news came out, and this was published on October 30th. Mysterious noises near Nevada's Lake Mead leave visitors puzzled. And talking about a metallic object, this is what the residents heard. The article goes on to say that residents near Lake Mead in Nevada have reported hearing mysterious and thunderous sounds echoing through the canyons, causing fear and speculation among locals. These sounds, described as a deep metallic groaning, were reported by 50 residents and campers near the Redstone Picnic area, a popular camping spot close to Las Vegas and the Hoover Dam. Videos of these sounds have circulated widely on social media, with some describing them as similar to a giant metal door groaning in the distance. The sounds have been compared to construction equipment, but no definite source has been identified. This isn't the first time strange sounds have been reported in the area. Previous reports have included claims of ghostly wails and unexplained footsteps near the Hoover Dam. And then a year before this, news reports came out that a large metal monolith was found in the Nevada desert. People were also finding these metallic orbs and so forth. So it's not really outside the realm of possibility that somebody finds a strange, mysterious artifact or object in the Nevada desert. People are also saying that these symbols that are on the metallic object look like somebody that was an amateur and couldn't have been done by some kind of highly advanced alien species. But this necessarily does not have to come from aliens, but something else that may reside inside Nevada. Nevada is an absolute hotspot when it comes to all types of supernatural phenomena and cryptids, not necessarily just aliens. So then he posts this video here that has everybody talking, him trying to open the object up with a drill, and something happens in this video that convinced me even further.
Anyway. Yeah, we're gonna open this. Wow, is this a bad idea? It does have power. It's in Milwaukee. Let's look, it's full. Anyway, I guess we'll begin. I'm gonna go right in a hole there. Is this a good idea, guys? So over here, everybody says do it, say don't do it. Sponsor, there is no sponsor. I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die. It's just making me feel bad already, but anyway. We'll start on one. Well, we can't put in one. I guess we'll start at two. What is that? No, I'm sorry.
The video does go on for another 30-40 minutes with all these strange sounds and noises in the background. As someone who's worked in the medical field, the noise he made as everything was going black, I've heard that a few times before from people who are having seizures and even a person that passed away. That was a very convincing sound. What I also found weird too, given the fact that this was a live so he couldn't edit anything out, was the fact that this blue light, whatever the source was not producing any shadows, not on the walls, not on the floors, nowhere. Then for the next couple of days, he went silent. He did not make any more videos, leading people to believe that he either passed away, or some people even believing he was electrocuted, or he disappeared altogether. And because people were very concerned and wanted to get authorities involved and so forth, they were able to find James' information. They were able to dox him. And because I guess now it was going a little too far, he then made an updated video, an updated live. And this is where things start to fall apart for a lot of people, including myself, because as you take a look at one of his latest videos, it's being heavily ratioed. It's really bad. As you can see, it has 76,000 views at the time of this recording, but less than 1,000 likes. That's not good. So he's trying to say that he was captured and dropped off to some unknown location because he says, I don't know how to get home, don't know where I am, don't know where I'm going. one would think that the first thing you would do is go on like Google Maps or something like that to find your way, put in your address and find your way. But the very first thing he does is take somebody else's phone, not his, but somebody else's phone, and he does a live to give an update. That's a red flag for everybody. Like this individual right here says, can log into his YouTube account and make a live stream, but can't open Google Maps. Right. This individual says, and manages to cleverly get around Google's security measures of authorizing an unknown login from a different device from the previous device, all while being dizzy and disoriented. Dude's got some skills. I mean, it's not a good look. I mean, the video is just so unconvincing that people are saying, good job, James. Get ready to watch your viewership tank as fast as it went up, because a lot of people were so convinced of that previous video that when it came to this video, they were so let down that they are just unsubscribing in droves. It is just the timing between people finding his information and saying, let's now get to the bottom of this. Let's go to his location and see what happened to this man and this live. It's almost like him saying, oh no, this hoax has gone too far now. I have to do something quick. Some people that are still very convinced by this whole thing are saying, well, maybe the so-called powers that be got him and they made this video with AI using his AI voice, and something really did happen to James, and they're trying to convince us that it did not. No, I don't think so. Because think about it, the very first time he uploaded that very strange metallic object, if it was something connected to the so-called powers that be and they knew about it, they would have took that video right down, they would have took his channel right down, they would have went to his home and confiscated that object. Why would they wait all this time for something to happen to him to now produce a fake AI video of him? I was like, wow, if we don't hear from this man ever again, if he does not make any more videos, then it's very convincing. It's kind of like, again, Andrew Dawson, because a lot of people thought his videos were fake, that the giant he saw in the mountains of Canada was a radio tower, but I made a video debunking that you could not see that radio tower from the distance he was driving. Matter of fact, nobody was ever able to replicate his videos. And then all of a sudden, he just stopped making videos. He disappeared till it came out that he had an obituary that he passed away. Tiffany Gomas, the woman on the plane, her situation was even more bizarre because nobody knew who this woman was. Nobody could find her on the internet. It was like she was completely scrubbed. And her situation happened in June or July, and her identity wasn't revealed until August by news and media. She wasn't coming out. She wasn't making any videos or updated videos saying this is what happened on the plane. News and media, who are very suspicious, tracked her down and revealed her identity, and a lot of people don't even believe that this is the same woman that was seen on the plane. So James' previous video of him drilling into the object, and that in itself was not a very smart thing to do, drilling into an unknown metal object, was very convincing. This updated video kind of destroys everything for a lot of people, and again, including myself. Matter of fact, I have to admit, reading the comments from people happens to be more entertaining than the actual video itself. Like this individual says, the biggest bruh moment of all time, James smoked us. At this stage, the Blair Witch Project looks believable. I mean, I got some entertainment out of it. Not all is lost. I think I speak for all of us when I say, WTF, James, I'm more disappointed in myself for believing it. So, if you want a good hearty chuckle, just go right to his comment section. Here's another good one. Dude, you're telling me half the internet is looking for you. And the best you got is you have a headache, don't know where you are, and you stole a phone. My guy, I stood up for you so hard. You gotta give us something better than this. People are legit disappointed. They are heartbroken. It's like they lost their dog, or they found out their father or mother isn't really their parents, or they found out Santa Claus isn't real. It's gold. It's gold. Which is kind of sad because it was slightly interesting at first, especially with everything that's currently going on in Nevada. This is a good one. I needed this. I really did. I needed a break from everything that's currently going on in the world. All the chaos, and I needed this good laugh. Yeah, and you even have some people saying that he has monetization enabled. He has membership prices. You can join his channel and there are certain tiers you can pay. And somebody noticed that he increased his membership prices after posting this very horrible update. I don't think you can increase the prices. I think that's it by default. Somebody also said, dude, he will never comprehend. He will never comprehend how many people he has traumatized. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done this one. No, I'm not, because there's actually more. He made another video saying how, and he admitted that's all a hoax because people, like I said, they got his information. They were doxing him. They were even showing up to his. I can't. I tried to edit this video so many times, but they were even showing up to his parents' job. No, look. Look, I don't agree with it. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree showing up to people's places, showing up to showing up to people's parents' line of work.
Yes, guys, it is all fake. I'm coming out to you now to say that. I got a lot of people trying to find me, and some I think have found me. So I guess it's time to end it. People showing up to my parents' workplaces too.
Oh, I had to step away because I had to keep re-editing the video. I couldn't make it through, but this is the power of the internet. It's the power of the internet. And the thing is, it really shows the kindness of people because they were concerned. They were legit concerned to the point they were doing anything and everything to get this man's information because they were worried about him. It wasn't the opposite. It wasn't like, he made them angry and they decided to dox him and go after him because of something he said. No. These people on the internet legit brought this story to the point that they were afraid something happened to this man. But I don't even know if I can continue this video. I literally have tears in my eyes. But if you're having a bad day today, if you're depressed, if you're tired of all this, again, this chaotic stuff in the news, all this world-ending talk and so forth, just go to this man's comment section and your whole day will change. It'll absolutely change. Because for some people, they still have not had that realization hit them yet that there's nothing going on here, that this is all a hoax. They still think aliens or something bigger is going on behind the scenes. Now, I will admit there are some things that were done in the video that I'm really, I still have some questions about. But for the most part, I mean, everything else just really proves that this is a fake, this is a hoax. And I know some people want to say, well, maybe the government got to him, maybe the other powers got to him, and he's changing his story because he's scared. He's now saying it's a hoax. But the thing is, and just like with Andrew Dawson documented over time how he was being harassed. And not just that, ultimately he disappeared and it came out he passed away. This individual, and you can see it, as soon as people came out and said we have his information, we want to see he's okay, and so forth, his Discord messages, it all lines up to he found out that people were going to be too heavily invested into this, that they were going to actually show up to his location, his parents' location, and he stopped. And again, this guy would have disappeared a while ago with his object because he kept these videos going for quite some time. Another clue is that in 2 of his videos and the video where he was drilling the object, he was telling people, well, if anything happens to me, if I were to pass away, make sure you keep these videos going. So he was kind of hinting that this was something he was going to do.
So now I'm gonna keep trying to post like every day so I don't disappear, but we all know how these things go, so Um, just wish for the best for me, and I'll try to do some experiments with this and record it. I'll probably try to open it at some point, but I don't know how to do that right now. I also don't want to die. I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die.
And also, he was showing videos of this object for over 2 months. I mean, if this was something like an alien artifact, some type of species artifact, or, another life form altogether, the government would have been all over this. We would also be seeing video footage of him being harassed by people in unmarked cars and so forth for quite some time now. This doesn't take away from the fact that there are some, again, very crazy, creepy, disturbing things out in the Nevada desert. You can also find some very bizarre things on Google Earth, like whatever this happens to be. Some people believe that this might be a blasting site, but I've never seen this before. There's a boat right next to it. I've never seen this boat, so I don't think there's ever been a confirmation as to what this actually is, but it's very strange nonetheless. It almost looks like a portal too. It kind of gives off Stargate vibes. And whatever this individual found on Google Earth, does anybody know what this happens to be? Some say it looks like a circuit board. Others believe that this might be some kind of military testing site.
I found this really weird shape. It's like a triangle with a bullseye in the middle of it, but it's drawn perfectly, or carved perfectly, or dug out perfectly, or imprinted. I'm not even sure what it is, but it's in the Nevada desert. So when I zoomed in, I actually took some measurements of it. It was like thousands and thousands of feet on each side. The overall perimeter was over 2 miles. So it's a huge etching in the desert floor. What it is or where it came from, I have no idea, but it's really, really weird. Take a look.
That video came from Brittany Palms, and again, make no mistake about it, there are just so many bizarre things that can be found in the Nevada desert. So many bizarre stories and so forth. I always get reminded of the Ron Moorhead video and what he heard. Now, what he heard was more around California, but this was in the Sierra Mountains that does indeed extend into Nevada.
When I came back up with the guys, and we was here by the stove. There was a stove here then. And as soon as it starts getting dark, we'd go in. Sometimes you might hear a grunt or a whoop or a big blowing sound or something like that, and that's when you know you want to get inside the shelter because you still don't know what you're dealing with. Whatever it is big, very, very big. We all go inside, close the shelter door, and that's a log that we put between these trees, and then we'd strap it inside a cable. And then they would start making their sounds. And that was in 71 when I first started hearing them. And we started recording them. Across the creek at the big rocks. Talking about maybe having to shoot our way out. You're just sitting there, all of you are kind of petrified. You're just waiting for the walls to break open, something reach in there and grab you and hold you up, and waiting for the light to break in the cracks of the walls, and it never happened. That's the strange part, because you hear it over there, but you don't see it over there. As time went on, 72, same thing. Whatever it was, we thought might be trying to scare us out. Maybe this is their territory, but we don't know. We can only guess at why they were doing what they were doing, and that they were observing us, that's for sure.
Let's also not forget the Native American legend of these red-headed giants being found in Lovelock Cave over in Nevada as well. This great video comes from Amber Bowden Vance.
Y'all want to hear a story? This story is going to take us to Lovelock, Nevada, and the mystery of Lovelock Cave. Lovelock Cave is an ancient cave shelter, which, according to legend, was once home to a race of red-haired giants. The cave was officially discovered in 1911 by two miners who were looking for bat guano, bat poop, which was a profitable industry at the time. And they mined 250 tons of it from the cave, doing considerable damage to it in the process. But they weren't too worried about damaging it until artifacts began to be discovered. They uncovered baskets, nets, sandals, and most strangely, 13 red-haired mummies. Afterwards, the two men contacted the Nevada Historical Society, who in turn contacted the Smithsonian, along with the University of California, who in the spring of 1912 sent L.L. Loud to excavate the cave. His excavation lasted from April to August of 1912, and he uncovered over 10,000 archaeological specimens, along with bones from 16 skeletons. In 1924, Mr. Loud returned to the site, along with a few other men, including some members of the Paiute tribe, and they mapped out 40 cache pits and 8 burials. In one of the cache pits were these really cool duck decoys. Look how perfect they are. They had been stuffed with tulle, which is like grass-like water plant, then covered with feathers and painted. They're so cool to me. The mummies in the cave were found to be exceptionally well preserved and had been naturally mummified by being sealed inside this cave. Over time, several more excavations were done in 1936, 1949, 1950, and 1960. In 1960, a man named G.L. Grossup attempted to reconstruct the culture history of Lovelock Cave. And based on his analysis of the artifacts, he concluded that the cave had been abandoned around 900 AD and that an occupational hiatus of around 800 years occurred between the departure of the prehistoric Lovelock people and the arrival of the Paiute tribe. But that is not how the Paiute people tell it. Their oral history tells a story of the Sitka, a fierce and brutal race of a red-haired, cannibalistic people who were both taller and stronger than ordinary men. Giants, some could say, though the Paiute people themselves did not use the word giants. And this oral history was actually recorded on paper, documented by Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, the daughter of Chief Winnemucca, in her book, Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims. She wrote, quote, "A small tribe of barbarians used to waylay my people and kill and eat them. They would dig large holes in our trails at night. Our people would fall into these holes. That tribe would even eat their own dead. Yes, they would even come and dig up our dead after they were buried and would carry them off and eat them. The Paiutes called them the Redhead People Eaters." She also records that they are brave fighters, saying, quote, "When they were fighting, they would jump up in the air after the arrows that went over their heads and shoot the same arrows back again." She also claimed that this red-haired tribe numbered about 2,600 when a 3-year war broke out between them and the Paiute. And then she told of their extermination at Lovelock Cave. Towards the end of the war, those that were left went into a cave. My people watched at the mouth of the cave and would kill them as they came out for food or water. My people asked them if they would be like us and not eat people like coyotes, but they would not give up. My people gathered wood and began to fill up the mouth of the cave. At last, my people set it on fire. At the same time, they cried out to them, "Will you give up, be like men, and not eat people like beasts? Stay quick, and we'll put out the fire." But no answer came. In 10 days, some of my people went back to see if the fire had gone out. They came back to my great-grandfather and told him that they must all be dead. All members of the tribe who were exterminated had red hair. She also stated, which was later copied in this news article, quote, "I have some of their hair, which has been handed down father to son. I have a dress which has been in our family a great many years, trimmed with this red hair." In this same article, which ran on September 27th of 1970 in the Atlanta Constitution, a Paiute woman named Annie told reporters, in response to these red-haired people being called Indians, that, quote, "Many of my people really wondered if the redheads were Indians." Anne says that her grandparents were told by their grandparents that the redheads had, quote, "long faces and were light-skinned like white men." The discovery of the red-haired mummies, along with one of the first analysis of the bones, which calculated the height of some of the skeletons at 7'7" and all the way up to 9'6", sent newspapers into a frenzy, and the legend of those red-haired giants into the public eye. So there are a lot of interesting articles on the subject. There was a lot of discourse in the beginning among the scientists who excavated the cave about the appearance of these mummies. According to one, he insists that it has not been established definitely that the mummies were those of Indians, for their skin was much lighter than any other known, and the eye sockets of the mummies were slanted like Oriental eyes. Regardless of what some said, arguments soon arose inside the scientific and academic community. Some insisted that these mummies couldn't have had red hair. They had to be indigenous in origin, perhaps the ancestors of the Paiute or other tribes, and that the hair had just turned from black to red in the mummification process, or perhaps was even painted red. But this article insists that that cannot be true, citing that the mummies had to have had their red hair upon death, because remember those cool duck decoys? Their feathers were not discolored at all. They also remained perfectly preserved in its original coloring. The height of these mummies is also very argued. Many scientists have become dismissive of the original claims, saying that the original measurements were wrong and that these giants were really just a little over 6 feet tall, though there is plenty of evidence to back up the Paiute's oral history of these red-haired people who were much larger than them. One is a pair of sandals about 15 inches long, which equals about a size 29 in U.S. shoe sizes, along with the most startling discovery of a giant handprint on a boulder inside the cave. Much larger than this ordinary-sized guy's hands, but still today, modern science claims that the giants of Lovelock Cave were not giants at all. That at best, it was a misunderstanding, and at worst, a hoax. But tell me what you think. Do you think there could have been red-haired giants in Lovelock Cave? I, for one, am inclined to believe the Paiute. the people who were there. But then again, I'm no scientist. Let me know what y'all think.
You know what's going to keep me up at night now is the fact that I just stumbled across a video about the Devil's Punch Bowl in Tonopah, and it's basically like a geothermal spring that occurs naturally, and everyone's minds were blown in the comments. But the funny thing is they have no idea how obscure Nevada actually is and how crazy it is, and I feel like someone needs to do like a 10-part series on it, because that's how many parts you can have to this. For one, the Goldfield Hotel, I've been there twice, and both times a bird has fallen from the roof right in front of me dead. And that's happened twice, so I've had 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of weird that it happened twice, right? Or Walker Lake and how weird that place is. It's near a military base, and one time I was driving up to school in August, and there was a really nice dive boat, like an all-black kind of dive boat, in the middle of the lake, and there was people dressed in this really nice black dive gear, and they were collecting samples of some sort. And I just remember the black SUV that was parked over in the parking lot, and it looked very much government. And you can swim at Walker Lake, but it's highly not recommended because of like the salt factor, and also the fact that there is a bunch of unexploded ammunition at the bottom of Walker Lake on the south side. And sorry, I meant like, so there's a Marine base like an hour and 45 minutes away from Walker Lake, but there is a depot, like I think it's like an Army depot that's like literally in Hawthorne, and it's like an ammunition like depot of some sort. So that's what I meant when I said that about Walker Lake, which is still really weird. Or the fact that 80% of the land in Nevada is owned by the federal government, making it only second to Alaska, which is very odd. Alaska, Nevada. But Nevada is way smaller than Alaska, and the federal government owns a lot of land there. The Clown Hotel, that's also in Tonopah, and it is actually really creepy. All the rooms are dedicated to clowns, so... Or the haunted one headlight between Tonopah and Hawthorne on the 95. So many people have sworn that there is this one headlight coming at you, and if you flash it, it chases you. And basically, you're not safe until you hit Hawthorne. And me and my friends were always terrified that we were going to come across that. And supposedly, one of my friend's ex-friend's sisters stumbled across that. Or how creepy and eerie Rachel, Nevada is, especially when you decide to stay in an RV there in the middle of the night. Supposedly it's the gateway to Area 51, and a lot of people have seen like alien encounters and all this crazy things. And the reason they named it Rachel, Nevada is because one of the first babies born there was named Rachel, so they called it Rachel, Nevada. But it is one of the most eerie places I've ever been to, and also it's just so deserted. Or the fact that Nevada is one of the largest sources of gold in the world. Nevada. In the world. Half of all of the wild horses left in America, more than half live in Nevada. Or like in Vegas, we call it the brothel law. It's not really about a brothel, but in Las Vegas, you can't live with more than 4 unrelated people in a household, which is really weird, But anyways, the list goes on, and that's just like the things that I've experienced personally and wanted to talk about. There's a lot of weird, crazy things about Nevada that no one really talks about.
So, needless to say, there are real mysteries, a real strangeness that surrounds Nevada, and I wouldn't let this one incident, this one video or videos, to really ruin the fact that Nevada is indeed very mysterious. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.